Okay, and hi everybody. You are welcome to today's episode of The Arena right here on Aneke TV. I am your host today, Amaka Niji, and on today's episode, we're diving into a topic that affects every single one of us, and that is making ethical decisions as a human being. Right? So every day, whether at work, in business, in relationships, or even in our personal lives, we are faced with choices. There's always that time in our lives when it comes to making decisions where you say, do I do the right thing or should I do the wrong thing? That time comes in your life, right? So to help us unpack this incredible topic, I have an incredible guest with me. Yeah, and I have with me Reverend Father Benjamin Achebe. He's a lecturer of mass communication at Godfrey Okoye University. It's good to have you on the show today, sir. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Amaka.
Okay, so let's start from the basics, right? When we say ethics, what exactly do we mean and how is it different from just doing what feels right?
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, and I wish also to start by appreciating Aneke TV for deciding to settle for a topic like this, because ethics is everything.
Definitely.
Yes, everything. That's what makes the world going. The human society will be nothing without ethics. Yeah. So when we talk about ethics, well, it's a very common concept. It's a very an everyday concept. It refers to those set of moral principles that govern human conduct, human behavior, our relationship with the people around us, the way we conduct ourselves, the choices we make. Yes, principles that determine sense of right and wrong. Yes, things that we will look at and say, okay, this is the right thing to do, this is the right course of action, this is not the right course of action. Okay. Especially as it concerns our dealings with other people, our relationship with other people. You know, so because we are created, we are in the community of human beings.
Definitely.
No one is an island unto himself. The Greek philosopher Aristotle says that man is man within the context of society. Man outside that context is either a beast or a god. That's the teaching of Aristotle. So we are human beings, and we are in a community of human beings, and that is why there should be such principles that will guide our relationship with people around us, our conduct. It is not just about myself, but myself in relation to other people around me. So that's it. And those principles guide the way we lead our lives, our daily lives, generally, especially as regards the people around us.
Okay, so these ethics we are talking about, are they universal? Because there are things we will do here that other people will not do. Like, is it a universal phenomenon? Let's take, for example, in this part of the world, we know that when, as a young girl, you come home with a boyfriend, you are finished. You come home and tell your mom or your dad, hey, this is my boyfriend, in an African home. Just know that you are finished. But then in the West, you come home, oh, mom, my boyfriend, dad, my boyfriend. And they're like, okay, hi, young man, what's up? What's your name? Where are you coming from? What do your parents do? So, but that aside, I know that's not what we're talking about, but I'm just trying to make an example. So are these ethics universal, or do they vary depending on your culture, religion, or profession?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of things that determine what could be considered ethical. Okay. As it concerns respective human societies. People have their various cultures, have their various traditions and all that. Yes, it can be understood, just like the example you gave, a very loose example you gave, that, there are things that could be frowned upon as morally wrong, and, and then these things are relaxed and can be accepted, and people wouldn't frown at it in other parts of the world. Right. But there are also moral absolutes. There are some ethical principles that are universal, that are absolute, for example, there is no human society that will accept murder, for example, Yes, there is no human society that will accept cheating in anything at all. Honesty is one virtue that is universal. People appreciate that, wherever it is, people experience that. So there are some that you can actually say are absolutes. They are universal. See, there are ethical principles that are universal. So irrespective of which place, which part of the divide one finds himself, irrespective of those other variables we can think about, maybe race, culture, religion, or whatsoever. There are some moral principles that are blind to all those variables.
Okay.
Things that we know that, oh, well, this is the right course of action, the other one is wrong. There is no culture or religion, tradition that will support bringing another person to harm, for example. No, it's a perfect example of moral absolute. This is something that is acceptable, and in our relationship with other people. There is this in the saying, the golden rule of charity. That's one we have in the Bible. Luke chapter 6, verse 31 says, do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. That is what is referred to as the golden rule of charity. Now, when you come to religion, this is one rule that you find in practically all the religions of the world. Okay. Every religion teaches that. Christianity teaches that. Islam teaches that. Oriental religions teach that. So it's just something that everybody knows. So and that is what should determine that's why it's called the golden rule, because it should determine the way we relate with other people. If I know that this particular action I'm going to pose it now will bring me to harm or give me some unpleasant feeling, then I shouldn't make it out to somebody else. It is just a principle that is there and should govern everything, with irrespective of religion or culture or anything. Okay. So while yes, there are some actions or some things that could be relative depending on some of those variables we mentioned, like people's culture, their religion, or whatsoever. There are also some ethical principles that are universal, that irrespective of those other fault lines or variables, they still hold. Yes.
All right. So, sometimes we don't realize we are making ethical decisions until we are in a tight corner. Let's take, for example, at my place of work, I would have a friend who is doing something wrong, and then I know about it.
Yeah.
But then I'm placed in between protecting my friend and telling the truth. So that's more like me being on a tight spot. Do I protect my friend that's ethical? Do I make the ethical decision of protecting my friend, or do I make the ethical decision of telling the truth? Okay.
Yes.
So if you were in that situation, what do you think? What do you think is the right thing to be done? And that aside, if there are other examples you could share with us as well. But placing yourself in that position, what do you think is the right thing to be done?
Yeah, ethical dilemmas, that's what we call them.
Okay.
We see them all the time in our daily lives. You can't wake up, there is hardly a day you will wake up without making one ethical decision or the other.
Right.
You can hardly escape that. Even if you decide to lie supine on your bed and not get out of the bed that day, even that decision to just lie back and decide not to do anything is also a choice you have made.
Okay.
Yes, and it has some ethical dimensions to it. So that's how it is. Now, coming to the example you gave, when we are confronted with such ethical dilemmas, there is one thing we need to consider. If I take this one course of action, what will be its effect on the larger society? If I, in the course of trying to protect the interest of one person, I have to put the interest of the rest of the society on the line, that wouldn't be a right decision to take. Yes. Well, an example I might give now okay, let me use an office situation, because you mentioned an office situation. Okay, someone is in charge of power, for example, which is very important, which should make a television station like this one to run. And you see clear case of negligence where this person is not doing what he or she should do to make sure that we have this electricity. And you know actually that this person is not rising to the occasion. We need power, and you are in charge of this. You need to be proactive, do what you've got to do. And this person fails to do that, for example. And then you are expected to speak up and say, well, this man didn't do what he ought to do, and that is why we are out of power. You know, when you speak that truth, well, you may have offended your friend because your friend had expected you to protect him or her.
Yeah.
But you're saving the establishment. So this is one thing, and that's where we have problem most of the times. Most often, people don't really think about the ripple effect, the far-reaching effect of some decisions they take. Because they want to protect either their own interest or the interest of a few. They don't mind putting the life of the rest of the people on the line. That's what you get. You know. So the day human beings begin to think of the decisions that, the ethical decisions they make and what impact it will have even on a larger number of people, then they will be making better choices. But sometimes we are so narrow-minded, we are so myopic in our choices that, of course, selfishness most of the times wouldn't allow people to know that, look, you should think more of the good of the larger number. That is what we are expected to do. Ordinarily, at all times, in all circumstances, in all situations, we should think more of what will benefit the larger society at all times whenever we take such decisions. Okay. You understand? Yeah. So when it comes to that, that is why making moral decisions, ethical decisions are not usually easy. Because just like the example you gave, I want to stick to the example you gave. This is a very good friend of yours, and you don't want to put this person on in a tight corner, in a difficult situation. But what one would need to do is to alert this good friend of mine, you are not rising to the occasion, you're not being proactive, you're not doing what you should do. Please leave everything you're doing and do the right thing so that there will be no problems. That's what one needs to do, because that's where the problem starts. Even that way you're supposed to do. That cautioning we're supposed to do at the beginning, we have not done that. And then we haven't done it. So we begin to fail morally. It's a moral, deficiency on our own part, not doing that. So eventually when the problem comes, we are caught in between protecting the interest of this individual whom we consider our friend, and then jeopardizing the good of the larger number of people, which wouldn't be right. So it's better we are proactive by telling this person, you have to take this course of action. It is important. Do this. Because, look, if you get into trouble, I'm sorry, I can't help, I won't help you. You are being morally conscious at that point. The moment you are telling this person, please do what you've got to do. So that you don't put me into the tight corner of trying to defend you when things go wrong. That is what people should be doing to people around them. But most of you don't see that happening. They don't sound that alarm.
Protect the friendship.
Yes, exactly. So what you need to do to this friend is to begin first of all by sounding that note of caution, of warning. This is the right thing to do. I mean, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and if things go wrong, please, I'm sorry, I won't be part of it. I won't defend you. I won't stand in for you. I won't hold brave for you. You shall have done your part at that point. But that is being a good friend.
Yeah, of course.
Most often, people find it difficult to. So it's a difficult thing to do, but that is what is always recommended. That's what makes a decent person. Most often when we talk about ethics, I don't like to talk about religion. People think you need to be a Christian. You need to. It's not about. It's blind to all those variables. It doesn't matter whether we are Christians or whether we are anything. It is about knowing what is right and sticking to it. So that's how it is.
All right. Thank you so much. So, okay, we'll just go on the short break now. And if you just tuned in, this is The Arena on Aneke TV. We're here discussing making ethical decisions. And based on what our guest, Reverend Father Benjamin Achi, has said, I would like you to drop your comment in the comment section. Tell us what you think. If you've ever found yourself in a tight situation where you have to choose between protecting your friend and telling the truth. You can drop your comments in the comment section at YouTube. We also have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have X, and we have TikTok, all at Aneke TV. My name is Nmegide. We're going to short break now.
Aqua, water. Water is life. Ancient, sacred, pure. It remembers creation and carries cleansing. It can be calm or it can rage, but it always moves. Aqua teaches us to be soft yet strong, to adapt yet remain, to flow around obstacles yet shape even the hardest stone. We came from water. We need water. And sometimes, when words fail and hearts break, only water falling from our eyes or washing over our skin can heal what language cannot.
My name is Nmegide, and you're still watching The Arena on Aneke TV. With me in the studio is Reverend Father Benjamin Achi, who is a lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication, Godfrey Okoye University. And we're here discussing the topic, making ethical decisions. And Reverend and Father Benjamin has told us a lot about making ethical decisions. We've gone to our workplaces. We've taken it from the place of work. We've taken it from the church. We've taken it from the home. Now let's go over to the political aspect of it. We are all Nigerians, and you all are seeing what is going on. Father, I know you are. I don't need to say much, but you can see what is going on. Now, how do you suggest these politicians? What kind of ethical mindset, or what kind of ethical decisions do you think these people should make, or what level of ethics do they need to possess for them to understand that the masses are suffering and we need help?
Thank you so much, Amaka.
Did I put you on a tight spot?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
You didn't. I mean,
okay.
if we are discussing ethics, I mean, it cuts across every aspect of
Definitely.
life, every aspect of society. And if we don't talk about politics, about governance, about public service, then, I mean, the conversation is not complete.
Definitely.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, it's one area. It is one particular area, I'll tell you, Amaka, that we should think more about making ethical decisions. You know, it should be the concern of people who manage the affairs of the state, who manage the affairs of the society, because they sit in positions where they determine what happens to the life of the generality of the people. Yes. If I'm taking a decision about myself, as an individual, and by the way, let me even say this by the way, that even when we talk about making ethical decisions, we should, even when it concerns ourselves, we should also take time to reflect and be sure we are not taking the wrong decision, even about ourselves. I don't have the right to bring myself to harm. And that's suicide. That's why suicide is not permitted. I mean, it's always frowned at everywhere. I don't know of any society that says yes to suicide or anything that will actually bring oneself to harm. Sometimes people ask such moral questions. But this person decided to kill himself. So why are you bothered about somebody he didn't kill anybody else, just himself? But we still say no to it because you didn't give yourself that life you want to take away. So if you find out that even when you are taking decisions, when one is taking decisions about oneself, you are still expected to reflect properly and take the right decisions, let alone when I am in a position where I have to take decisions that will, impact on the life of millions of people.
Okay.
So it's regrettable, it's unfortunate that people who hold such positions don't even think in that direction.
Okay.
They are so egotistical, they are so, I don't know whether to use the word narcissistic, but that's what you'll find, that they don't even think that this position they are holding is actually to take care of other people. What we say, they said the primary, what did they say again is the primary duty of government? The life of welfare of the people. Security and welfare of the people. That's the primary essence of government. That's what we're told. Everybody knows this.
Yes.
And now somebody takes such position and forgets it. And sits in this office forgetting that, look, you are having the interest. You should have the interest and the welfare of the millions of people out there on your shoulders. it's really regrettable that people who hold such positions don't remember that. The welfare of the people should be their concern, should be their primary concern. Even if it means doing violence to themselves to make sure they do that, because that's what it should be. A leader should lead by example. A leader should essentially be a servant. Yes, that's it. In places or environments where people see leadership as service, they're not usually so quick to go for it. Think of our traditional society, for example. There are times in the past that a community will say, look, we want this man to be our king because he's a man of honor. He's a man of noble character. I mean, we can vouch for his integrity. Because this person understands it as service, sometimes you see them say, no, please, I don't want the headache of taking this position, and the people will be insisting. But these days, just to show you that people don't care so much about the interest of the people around them, they just care about themselves, you see a situation where people are ready to do anything to take some positions. Okay. Egoship tussle is a problem in many communities today. Why? If this person is really seeing it as service, will the person be ready to kill the other just to make sure he takes that position? So that's what you get. And that is what you'll find in our political space today. People are that will stop at nothing. Will stop at nothing to get to these positions because they are not going there to serve. So that's why I said it's a tragedy that people take such positions and they don't care. And that is why a country like Nigeria that got a lion's share of God's kindness and blessings is suffering. Nigeria has no reason to be where it is today. Has no reason to be a pariah nation that it is today. Because no matter how we try to paint it, that's what it is. Nigeria presents every indices of a failed state. A country so richly blessed like ours. Why? Because the people, the less than 5% of the population that are managing the affairs of the country are missing in action. They don't really understand what they've gone there for. So when it comes to making ethical decisions, I think we should think more about such people. Anyone that is in a position where they have to manage the affair of the other should take ethical decisions very seriously. Okay. As a young person, I mean, young person just growing up, you're just a bachelor or a spinster and you're just on your own. You have less decisions to take because you're just thinking about yourself. But once you get married, to a spouse, you see, you have more decisions to take now because you're no longer thinking about yourself. It's now about somebody else. Yeah. Now a child comes, you're
thinking about
exactly, you're thinking about this and all that. So I'm talking about just the unit, which the family, which is the smallest unit of the society, yes. Just a nuclear family. Now think of someone sitting as a governor in a state of 1 million, 2 million, 3 million persons. Think of somebody sitting as a president in a country of over 200 million people. And then you wake up and you be acting like a bull in a china shop. You forget that these people's interests are hanging on your shoulders. I don't know what those people think. Well, many of them are either Christians or Muslims, and they believe in the afterlife. I don't know what they are thinking, what they're going to say before the judgment seat of God. I'm talking about this because many of these people, like I said, at least believe in God and believe in the afterlife and all that, and believe they could one day stand before God in judgment. So it's unfortunate that we have people who are managing the affairs of other people and they don't even care about the decisions they take.
All right.
See, because if they are ever mindful of it, some of the crazy policies we see today, you will not be seeing them. Some of the things they do that actually bring people to harm. People are in pain and you see it. That should be, taking ethical decisions brings some kind of empathy, because you are thinking, if the golden rule guides you, you'll be telling yourself, if I get into this office now and I don't do the roads, I don't provide basic amenities, and people are in that terrible situation and all that. Suppose that I happen to be the person in the position of these people. How will it be if someone else is occupying this position I'm occupying now and is not doing the basic things he needs to do so that my life will be better? What will it look like? That is the kind of thinking that will make people make right ethical decisions. Okay. But most often, those things are totally missing. So it's really unfortunate that we have people in such positions who don't really, think in that direction. That it is not just you now doing what you want to do. It is about taking decisions because you know that such decisions you take will have far-reaching effects, will have ripple effects. Your words will carry weight because you are holding this position. They forget that, You saw what happened in the present times. The present leadership got it wrong, set off with the wrong foot. When at the inauguration, the president had to, the fuel subsidy, for example, is one issue that has been lingering for a very, very long time
Even
before
till today.
before 2023.
Even until this morning.
And all the presidential candidates prior in the build-up to the 2023 general elections, we are talking about it, what they were going to do. It's important we look into this matter of fuel subsidy and see how we can manage things and all that. And now, eventually, someone was giving certificate of return as president, and on the day of his inauguration, he just said, fuel subsidy is gone. There were no details. This is what we're going to do. These are the plans we have in place, and nothing. In fact, the way those words came, in all honesty, I mean, my apologies if I didn't get it right, didn't show that this person didn't really think about it. He didn't think of the weight of the. I think at that particular point in time, he lost, he lost the idea. He didn't remember that. Look, you're no longer just the private citizen you were just a minute ago. You have become the president and commander-in-chief of the nation. And whatever word you say at that point carry a lot of weight. And of course, we know what happened immediately after that.
Yes, of course.
Just that same day, the prices of PMS skyrocketed and all of those. So this is just what we're trying to say, that when we talk about making ethical decisions, people who are in the position where they manage the affairs of other people should take it even much more seriously, because whatever decision they take will have far-reaching effects on other people, millions of people. It may be just be so that's no word should be a careless word. No statement should be a careless one. It should be well thought through. Anything that will come from anybody who is managing the affairs of other people should be product of deep, thorough reflection. It shouldn't be something that people can, but you hear a lot of careless words coming from people who manage affairs, and then eventually it produces devastating effects, unfortunately.
All right, so Father Benjamin, our time is already up. Our time is up as we speak. But just to wrap up the show, what advice do you have for people, especially the people in power, especially our leaders? Are there any practical frameworks or any questions you feel that, okay, before I take this decision, before they take decisions, they should sit back, ask themselves before they make decisions, so that just to protect the people they are ruling? Let's just take this in a minute, please.
Yeah. Okay. Well, before one takes decisions, generally, I mean, there are some basic questions one needs to ask himself, just like you're already saying. This decision I'm going to take now, will it be of benefit? Well, first of all, to myself, if the answer is yes, you go beyond yourself. Because if it ends only with you, it's not complete yet. I've taken this decision, I feel good about it. But will the other person feel good about it? Will it bring joy? Will it bring succor to the other person? So when we talk about making ethical decisions, it is usually about the other. Because we are talking about conduct of the person within the context of society, within the context of human society. So it's not just about us. Will it be of benefit to the other person? Depending on the number of people depending on the position I occupy and what impact my decision might take, the number of people it might affect.
Okay.
The higher the number of people, the more I should be careful, the more circumspect I should be in taking that decision. So that is one basic question one will ask himself. If I feel good about this, will the other person feel good about it? Okay. Will the entire society, depending on the number of people that, well, if I'm a public servant, will it be of benefit to the people? Will this policy be of good to the people? And if the answer is in the affirmative, one can say, okay, yes, I know it will be good. Not just for me, but for the people around me.
Okay, so thank you so much. It's been such an enlightening conversation, Reverend Father Benjamin Archie. Thank you so much. We've learned that making ethical decisions isn't always easy, but it's necessary for our peace of mind, our relationships, and of course, our society at large. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Nmegide. Join us again next time on The Arena, right here on Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.